Yo, what is up, everybody? Did you miss me? Welcome to the latest episode of Benzinga All Access. I'm Spencer Israel. Got three exciting companies on today's show. If you don't know what this show is, this is our All Access show. We do this every single Friday where we put away the charts for a second, put away the market talk for a second, and just spend some time talking about stories, right? Stories of companies, stories of the people behind those companies. We will get back to the markets, I promise. After this show is over, we will go over to live trading in about an hour or so from now, and we'll go to Benzinga Live from there. So we will have markets talk coming up, but for the moment, I want to just step aside, put that aside at least, and just get into the weeds a little bit if we can on some companies and find out what makes them tick, right? What are the headwinds? What are the tailwinds? How does your business work? Why does it work the way it does? Why did you start this business? So we have three exciting companies on today's show. I'm excited to tell you about it. I'm excited to hear from them. Before I go any further, let's roll that intro, and then we'll get to what's coming up today. First guest today will be Dr. Henry G., the chairman, president, CEO, and also co-founder of Sorrento Therapeutics. After him, we'll be joined by Ronen Luzon, the CEO and founder of MySize, and we're going to wrap up the show with Steve Budin, the CEO of King's Entertainment. Before I bring on our first guest, I do have to tell you about today's sponsor. Every episode of All Access is sponsored by Ticker. Ticker is revolutionizing how everyday investors are rewarded for brand loyalty by connecting consumers with perks for the brands that they own. Yes, get rewards just for owning shares in a company. All you have to do is go to this link that I'm putting on the screen right now, ticker.com/Benzinga, TICKER.com/Benzinga. Here's a little video about how Ticker works.
What is Ticker? That's right, Ticker with two I's, just like you. Because it's for you, for investing, for stock perks, for connecting you to public companies who reward you as a shareholder, as a brand lover. That's why people can't stop tickering. Ticker, where investors discover shareholder perks and consumers become investors in the brands they love. Ticker. Start tickering today.
Ticker.com/Benzinga. When you sign up for an account on Ticker using that link and you confirm your email and connect your brokerage, when you do all that, there's a little box that says, "Are you from Benzinga?" You say, "Yes, I'm from Benzinga." Check that box, and they will send you a $20 Amazon gift card in 30 days. So again, sign up, ticker.com/Benzinga, confirm your email, connect your broker, tell them you're from Benzinga via the little checkbox, and they will send you a $20 Amazon gift card just like that. All right, before I go any further, before I bring on Henry G., one last thing. I have to say this every time. First things first, hit the like button, please. Likes really do help us. It seems silly, but the likes help. I don't know why. They just do. Smash the like button with your finger, your thumb, your pinky, your elbow, your knee, your face. I don't care how you hit it. Just hit the button, please. Second thing, we are upfront about this fact. Every company that is on today's show has paid Benzinga to be here. However, this is the big however, they do not know what I'm going to ask them because I don't know what I'm going to ask them. I have no idea. I have some idea, but I don't really know what I'm going to ask them. It's a conversation. We see where it goes. They also don't know what you're going to ask them. If you have any questions for any of our guests, drop your questions in the chat. I will do my very best to save time at the end of each segment for questions from the audience. That being said, let's bring on the first guest today, Dr. Henry G., the chairman, President and CEO of Sorrento Therapeutics, ticker SRNE. Dr. G, welcome to All Access. Oh, did he just freeze?
I
What?
freeze? No, I'm okay.
Your,
Hey,
your
Spencer.
video just froze for me. I hear you. This is bizarre.
Yeah.
This might be this might be a first for us.
I can see you. I can see myself.
Try to stop your camera and then restart it again. I think that
Okay.
might do the trick. Let's see what happens if you restart your camera. Oh, this is so bizarre because I see you on my like back end, but like on the front end, I see a black space.
Okay.
This is very interesting. Dr. G, just try refreshing the whole page and let's see where that gets us here, because it does look like he was just working 5 minutes ago, I swear. There's always something. There's always something. Anyway, now that he's refreshing, I have a few moments to schmooze with y'all. So how's everyone doing? All right. You know what? I think he's back. Hey, yes.
All right. Are we good?
We're good. We're good.
All right. Hey, it's the early morning, Spencer.
Thank you for having me here. You're on the West Coast. I appreciate you joining us. It's nice and early for you, 6:20 in the morning. Before we go any further here, as I mentioned, you are one of the co-founders of Sorrento from way back in what 2006.
2006.
So tell us, whenever I talk to a founder or a co-founder, the first thing I always ask them is why, right? What happened in your life and your career?
Oh, actually, I co-founded with my partners that by accident. Reason is they just out of a job they have and they're looking for something. I'm a scientist, they're a businessman. They coming to me, they say, well, Henry, do you have anything we can form a company about it? We say, well, I have very good intellectual property, potentially for build a fully human antibody library. It's a brand new, but 2006, and there is no money, and there's not a whole lot of deals going in. But there is one field very active, which is human therapeutics, which, as you know, as of today, the largest drug in the world is called Humira. It's from a fully human antibody library from a Cambridge antibody technology, which is a UK company just being acquired at that time by AstraZeneca. Then all of the antibody company that time being acquired, that few years, that including the Domentis by GSK, Morphosis today is still independent. So a bunch of a company being acquired. So they said, well, let's form a company. That's how we start the virtual company 2006.
And so then what happened next? Was it easy to get funding?
Actually, right after the funding, they joined another company as a CEO, CFO, and I left holding the bag. So I said, well, fine. And I have been there for a few years. And 2008, they sold their company and they were starting to go fundraising. 2008, right at that time, the financial crisis kicks in 2009. There's no money. And we get in, and finally I had my good friend, Dr. Richard Lerner. He's the former president, unfortunately passed away, and he should have the Nobel Prize awarded to him for his contribution to human antibody library. He's the president of Scripps. So I went to Dr. Lerner, say, hey, I have this technology, which he's a inventor for the competing technology that formed the Cambridge antibody technology. That's the origin for the Humira, the largest drug selling as of today for rheumatoid arthritis at $22 billion a year. So he said, well, I can help you. So he picked a phone call called Phil Frost. Phil Frost is the multi-billionaire in Miami. And we got into a meeting with Phil Frost in his office. That's how we get funding. But Phil want the company to be in the public So he has a shell company. And from day one, 2009, we got our funding and they become a publicly traded company.
That's awesome. So your friends and you found a company, your friends leave you holding the bag, but it all works out in the end.
No, it's all good.
It's all good. Okay. Sorrento has, to put it lightly, a rather robust pipeline. You've got several different programs. I'm going to bring them up on the screen right now. Tell us about the different programs and where the growth is right now. What is most important here?
Yes, let me tell you what we have is we have a full business that focusing on the very major business market, including cancer. That's why we started. And then we have the autoimmune, the antibody, all the molecules you're working on. Sometimes they have, a property in the anti-inflammatory for autoimmune diseases. We're also very big into non-opium pain management, build one of the largest pipeline in the non-opium pain management, including FDA-approved drug called Zithilido. It's growing very nicely year to year, quarter to quarter, month to month. And we have another drug called SP12 Semdexa, which is actually a very simple, non-sexy product called, for epidural injection. As you know, you have a bulge disc, you do epidural injection, and that's about 12 million shots a year. And nobody knows that actually there's no FDA-approved drugs for that. Everything's done by off-label use for, unsuitable type of steroids, which has a, particulars, surfactant, and preservative. It could be, a lot of side effect. And we actually have the product, went through all of the pivotal trials and about 400 people tested. And now we finished and we just announced the very significant positive data on the product, both on the safety side, on the efficacy side. We're going to ask for breakthrough designation. We have the fast track from the FDA. We're going to ask for breakthrough designation. And we believe this drug, if it gets approved, could be a multi-billion-dollar drug, revenue driven for us. That's going to kick us into, building big pharmas with Sorrento. And then we get into the COVID-19 since 2020. And we actually built one of the largest portfolio in the space of COVID-19.
Yeah, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different COVID-19 drugs you have in the pipeline right now. Talk us through which of those is furthest down the line.
So we have the diagnostic. We have to rebrand it as a COVID mark right now. It's branded as a COVID stick in Mexico, Brazil, because some of the trade mark issues that somebody has the stick trademarks. So, but we changed that to COVID mark. We have the COVID stick approved, EUA in Mexico and Brazil. And we are in the process getting FDA review, hopefully approved for the COVID mark in the US and Health Canada for the at-home use of the product. And we also apply in China. We just recently bought a majority ownership of Fortune Bio, and that gives us a manufacturer basis as well marketing to China. And we have neutralizing antibody. And as you know, there is multiple EUA approved products on the market. And then suddenly FDA pull some of them, hold them not to market, including the Regeneron's antibody. Yeah. And, AstraZeneca is still marketed, and Eli Lilly, one drug's not marketed anymore, but there's a new one just approved. There's only 2 antibody in the world as of today. Only 2 antibody in the world right now has the very potent activity against Omicron, or Omicron with a mutation of the BA2 version of the Omicron. One of them is Eli Lilly, antibody just recently got approved, and the other one is us. And then we have oral antiviral pill. It's going to get into human testing, hopefully sometime April. And that one is very competitive to the Pfizer version of it. Reason for that is it requires a ritonavir, which is RTV, that inhibiting the liver enzyme that is potentially could be causing drug-drug interaction. And we found out a drug that does not require the RTV or ritonavir. So if that works out, we believe that could be a major drivers for us, because that does not require that does not affect the drug-drug interaction.
Can you be specific for the COVID drugs here? As far as which, I guess for the antibody.
Okay, antibodies.
Which variants? Because it's testing against and.
So we actually have the Covishield. We licensed exclusively worldwide rights from Mount Sinai, and that drug, it works for all variants. And we tested against the original Washington strain, the Beta, which is the one from South Africa, works on the Delta, and works on Omicron BA.1, Omicron BA.1 plus the mutation, and BA.2 right now. BA.2 is all over the world.
Okay.
And our drugs works against all of them.
And then can you specify, and I can bring the graphic back up here, but where are you in the pipeline here, in the FDA approval pipeline?
So we are right now got the FDA clearance for phase 1. We are in the phase 1 as of right now, and we're starting wrap up the phase 1 in a month or so. Then we'll get into phase 2, phase 3, both in UK. And we did the phase 2 for COVID jobs in UK, and we're gonna get into Mexico as well. And the phase 2, phase 3, you can potentially submit for EUA approval, and there should be a few months process.
Okay. And then can we talk about the non-opioid pain programs that you have, and then specifically, again, same thing. I want to know where you are on the pipeline, and what's already approved, and what is the closest to getting through.
Okay, so we have the ZT-Lido 1.8%. That's already approved. That's on the market, and that's for shingle pain, the pain caused by shingle. And we have very nice revenue growth, and we have a team, full teams, sales marketing in all of the states in the United States. We have all licensed from each state, and that come in very handily, because if we got the drugs or the diagnostic approved by the FDA, we can use the same sales marketing team to market our product or diagnostic products. And the SP102, we believe, is going to be a multi-billion-dollar blockbuster drug. And we have a fast track, and this drug's going to finish the phase 3, and we have the complete data sets. We're ready to request for a meeting with the FDA to go through, see whether we can get the fast track, the breakthrough designation, and to see whether we can get the drugs approved quickly so that we can get on the market.
For people who don't know, because right on this slide here, it says fast track status for SP102, orphan drug designation is for a different drug. Can you explain what those designations are and why they matter?
Yeah, the fast track, that means you can get good communication with the FDA. They move much faster than regular application. And when you get the breakthrough designation, that typically can get the drugs approved in 6 months. So that's the one we're gonna ask FDA. Orphan drug status, that means the drug in the certain indication, they have a exclusivity protection, typically 7 years after you get on the market.
Of all of the drugs that you're working on and all the different pipelines, can you give us the rundown of like what is the next catalyst, or not even the next, but like what can we expect as far as news flow from Sorrento and timing?
Okay, so we have the SP102 Semdexa. We're gonna package all the data, submit to the FDA, request for breakthrough designation.
What,
And how typically breakthrough designation can be approved if it meets the FDA requirement in 60 days. So
okay.
it's going to be a very big deal. If you get the breakthrough designation, you submit the NDA. FDA typically approve the drugs in 6 months or so.
Okay.
So that's a big
So
inflection point.
that's the next thing, right?
Yes.
But what's that? And so that's so what are we talking about? What, like we're talking about June?
We intend to submit it quickly, and sometimes in the next 2 to 3 months, if we get the decision from the FDA.
Okay. And then moving beyond that.
Moving beyond that, then you get the NDA submitted, and you communicate frequently with the FDA, make sure you meet all the FDA requirement, and if we have the luck of the draw, FDA approves it, because non-opium is a big demand right now, and firstly, the COVID causing more people using opium to manage pain. And secondly, there is a drug shortage. For example, the dexamethasone used as a steroid, which is used off-label for the epidural injection, right now is primarily used for COVID patients. So there is a shortage of here. And if we can get our drugs approved, we're going to be able to address a very huge market, which is 12 million shots a year in the United States alone. You can calculate the number, using any number. You can imagine how big the market that is, just US alone. And there's no drugs approved.
Yeah, the term non-opioid pain management, obviously, it speaks for itself. Why you would say that, why you would add the caveat of it being a non-opioid. Everyone knows why that's a big deal. Are there other non-opioid pain drugs out there? There are.
There are, but the epidural injection for sciatic is probably one of the biggest market out there. The pen market actually bigger than cancer market. Pen drug commands close to $100 billion market a year, and you get the epidural injection, that's in the tens of billions of dollars. If there is no drugs approved, either one gets the drugs through the FDA. If FDA approves it, we could be one of the major play or the play in the epidural space.
And then I guess just before we wrap it up here, Dr. G, and I'm going over your pipeline here that I have up on my screen. And I guess as far as the COVID program,
yes,
because there was just a headline today about that. Shanghai has a new all-time high in the cases. I think the CEO of Moderna was on TV yesterday and said that it's very likely we're going to get another variant coming out of Shanghai soon here. As long as COVID remains a thing, or I guess let me rephrase the question differently. Is there a chance that any of your COVID programs are wound down in the event that there are no more variants?
It's Spencer. It's all speculation. No more variants or new variants, because this virus is very smart and they keep on evolving. And most of the people are gonna expecting there's new variants, and you want to watch is whether the new variants comes in, creates a variant, a super bug that has more transmissibility and a severity too. Right now, everybody's have the guards off because the severity is not superly mutated, right? You have a mild symptom, What if you have a bug transmitted more with a higher severity, that causing more hospitalization? That's when people get panicked. That's where all the scientists around the world, like us, we have hundreds of scientists working in the company, just being prepared, just in case there is a super bug. As we did on the antibody, neutralizing antibody. We prepared and we waited and we worked on the research development and manufacturing. And suddenly Omicron kicks in. Some other drugs, antibody drug works before, does not work anymore. And luckily, our antibody works. Not only luckily for us, it's also luckily for the human society and the humanity, because you need to have people like us to be there prepared just in case some things unexpected happen.
Yeah. And I brought up the slide just there on your COVID test.
Yes.
Because you mentioned that, but we kind of glossed over that. That's still in the works.
No, that one's already on the market.
It's on the market.
It's on the market in Mexico, Brazil, and our hope is we submitted the package to the FDA and the Health Canada. Hopefully, they meeting all of the requirements by the FDA and the Health Canada. If that gets approved, as you know, just yesterday also, the DoD of this country awarded over $1 billion to Abbott, rapid diagnostic. Just $1 billion. It's for stocking purpose, just in case another surge, another waves comes in, and you need it. Just look at it. In China right now, they have all citizens tested almost daily.
Yeah.
And they have 100 or 200 people infected. They locked down the whole city for tens of millions of people. And the rumor is that the initial testing budget for the country, we're talking about it, is 600 billion yuan. That's equivalent to $100 billion US. And luckily, before the infection kicks in China, we bought a majority ownership of one of the diagnostic company, and that company is applying for the approval in China too. Hopefully, we can contribute to testing in China and get the revenue too.
Dr. Henry G is the chairman, president, CEO, and was one of the founders of Sorrento Therapeutics. Dr. G, thank you so much for joining us today on Benzinga All Access.
Thank you very much, Spencer.
All right. Guys, we're going to call an audible here. Okay. We had a last minute change. Unfortunately, MySize had to reschedule. This is funny because the first time they were on our show, we had major technical difficulties on our end, which is why they rescheduled to today. Now we've got to reschedule again, but we're going to have MySize on this show if it's the last thing I do. However, we have our next guest already here. Kings Entertainment is the company. We're going to pivot, switch gears. We're going to bring on Steve Budin, who is the CEO and director of Kings Entertainment, trading on the CSE under the ticker Jackpot, JKPT. Let's bring Steve on right now. Steve, good morning.
How you doing? Good to be here.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you.
All right. We're going to pivot here from drug development to gaming. So at a high level, tell us about Kings Entertainment. What is the business?
Right. So at our core, we're a lottery business, right? We make all the lotteries, the most popular lotteries from around the world, available everywhere but the U.S. and Canada, with a focus on Latin America. So if you're in Mexico and you want to play Powerball or Mega Millions, and soon to be the local lotteries in Mexico as well, as we're onboarding those right now, instead of just going, if you go to the local bodegas, they don't sell Powerball or Mega Millions there. So your options are, go online to a company like ours, a reputable company that you can trust, that if you actually win the 100 or 200 million, that you're going to get paid, or you can fly to the U.S. and incur those expenses. So, we're a formidable option. We have a very big brand in Latin America. We're very well trusted. We've been around since 2005. And we provide exciting lottery entertainment to everyone there, and as well as providing other gaming verticals as well, like casino and sports, both live and virtual casino. And we found there to be a lot of synergy between lottery players and casino players specifically. So we use lottery to kind of bring the players in, give them a reason to stay and play every day. And then we introduce those other verticals as well so that we can be a complete, robust gambling offer.
Can you give us a sense, Steve, for how large the market size is for you compared to how large it is in North America?
Well, I mean, in order to, obviously in North America, the pie is bigger, right? The pizza pie is bigger for purposes of a visual, but there are much more slices. So with all the companies that are competing in North America, every company has a small slice of a big pie of pizza, and that's why we've seen the issues with competition in North America. And we've seen those companies, not have the greatest numbers over the last year or two, and why their stocks, have tumbled, is because where they projected this large market, in the end, with them all competing for the same space and the same customer, they've all just been able to garnish a small slice of that pie. Whereas in Latin America, the pie is considerably smaller, but there are only a few slices. So I would argue that our slice of the pie in Latin America equates to a bigger slice of the overall pie than the slices that are available in North America.
So a bigger piece of a smaller pie. You singled out Latin America because that's where most of your operations are. But can you just give us a breakdown of Latin America versus the rest of the world?
Right. So, I mean, again, our about 25% of our revenue comes from Mexico. About 80% of our revenue comes from, Latin America as a whole, with the other small section coming from Europe.
Got it. And I'm imagining Europe is where is that where you see the growth, or are you're still seeing the growth in Mexico?
No, I still see a tremendous growth opportunity in Latin America, where every day someone turns of legal age. Obviously with lottery versus sports or casino, the funnel is so much wider. Because lottery appeals to such a bigger audience than specific casino or sports does. So I think that being in the lottery business and focusing on lottery gives us the ability to bring in a much wider funnel of customers than other companies that have discarded lottery for whatever reason.
Is lottery most of this business? Because you mentioned the gaming as well.
Yeah, so I would say that lottery is 80% of our business at the moment, but that's our casino business is growing every day. One of the unique things about our company versus other lottery companies is that we were able to bring on tier 1 casino providers. So our casino offering is up to par and up to standard with any of the top companies in the world that are offering casino, with having some of the best casino providers, whether it be Evolution, Oryx, or Red Tiger on the casino side, Pinnacle on the sports side. We can offer a comparable product to anyone in the business, regardless of their size, where a lot of our lottery competitors are not able to make those type of deals with those tier 1 providers, and they have a subpar casino product.
In terms of the lottery here, are we talking? I mean, we're talking traditional brick and mortar, right? I mean, in stores, in bodegas. How does it actually work? Like, do you have to go, like, they license it from you, or how does that work?
It's a good question, and it's very different than the lottery model in North America, which, for lack of a scientific term, sucks. Our lottery model is we allow betting on the lottery for the most part. So we have insurance that's provided to us for every lottery bet. We pay a small insurance fee. We charge for the lottery ticket. The lottery ticket minus the insurance fee equals our operational profit, right? So in that sense, we can have a nice big profit margin on lottery. Where our competitors in North America that are reselling North American lotteries, it's not betting on lotteries. They're actually making a deal with a local store, local convenience store. They're splitting their profits with that local convenience store. They're adding about 20 cents to a ticket versus $2 or $3, as in our case. And they have to sell so much lottery to make a profit. It's why a lot of them are having problems with their balance sheets.
But that's not that doesn't apply to you.
It doesn't, because we don't. It would apply to us if we were looking to move into the North American market lottery wise. And at this point, that's why we're focusing on the markets that we do, because it's a much more profitable, business model.
Are there any unique or like difficult or even easy regulatory challenges or lack thereof in the markets that you operate?
Not in the markets that we operate, and that's another reason. There are tremendous regulatory challenges in North America and Canada, and because of that, we've kind of focused on the markets that we've been in since 2005. And obviously, and more than the regulatory and jurisdictional issues with those markets, I think it really boils down to the business model obstacles. I think that the business model in North America leaves a lot to be desired. And I think that you have all these companies competing for what looks like the sexy jewel, but then when you uncover it and that diamond is actually a piece of glass. And I think that's what's hurt the industry. It's what's hurt the sector. I think that where gambling was so sexy 3 years ago, we've seen a lot of investors sour on it because all those North American companies that sold that dream, weren't able to come up with the goods when it was time to report their earnings.
So we've got the lottery. That's the main bit part of the business here. But we've also got the online gaming and the sports book, which we haven't even really talked about.
Right.
Of those two
Alternative.
silos, of those two silos, which is the bigger one? Which do you see growing more?
Well, the casino is, and that's only because there's a tremendous synergy between slots and lottery. It's the same player. It's the same mentality. It's the same seeker of that sort of entertainment, small investment for a large potential payoff. And I think that because of that synergy that we see between lottery and slots, our biggest growth area over the next couple of years will be in virtual casino. And we've done a really good job of converting our lottery players into slots. When I took over the company a few years ago, they were converting about 13%. We're converting up over 20% now. We're seeing those active customers grow. And look, we have bad days and good days in the casino. That's not the case in the lottery. Whenever you sell a lottery ticket, no matter what, you have a certain built-in profit, win or lose. The casino, people do win some days. You know what I mean? So some of the days you see it, and but as an operator, what I look to do is I look at those active customers and new customers, and I want those numbers to keep going up. And as a seasoned casino veteran, I know if that's the case, the profit's going to be there eventually.
So I know I'm jumping around back and forth between the lottery and the other stuff, but sorry, that's just the way it goes. If I can go back to the lottery, so King's Entertainment is like the layer, I guess, below or on top of the ticket providers, right?
Well, I think it's a different layer completely, because we are not ticket providers. We don't buy tickets at all. In essence, we create a betting opportunity where you bet on the outcome of the lottery. So we bypass the ticket providers and the ticket all together until a certain amount. When lotteries get up over 400 million, the lottery insurance providers at that point say we don't want any part of this. So at that point, we actually become ticket brokers, where we have a network of ticket purchasers throughout the world that we purchase tickets from electronically, and we resell those tickets to our customer base.
That's not how the business started, though, right?
When you say the business, you mean the online lottery business?
Yeah.
The online lottery business basically started as a betting on the lottery business.
It did, okay.
Except in the U.S., where it recently went online. Okay. That's completely reselling of lottery tickets.
Got it.
There is no betting on the lottery in the U.S.
Right. Can you speak a little bit about like your user growth, your customer acquisition costs? We talked a little bit about how that is a real big challenge in the U.S. But Can you just talk about what that looks like for you?
It's a challenge for us as well, because obviously the jurisdictions that we're in want to protect their local lotteries, right? So they want to make it as hard as possible for us to compete with them, from a marketing standpoint. So we have to be very creative in our marketing approach. Right now, cost per acquisition can be anywhere from $15 to $300. And obviously, we're not sticking around in that marketing deal too long if it's up towards the $300 range. But for me, we just recently released a press release. In the gambling business, I've always looked towards revenue share, as really the best possible deal. When you're in these CPA deals, these cost per acquisition deals, to me, that's like a high level game of poker. There's always a winner and a loser. You're going up against a provider, and in the end, either the provider is going to provide that click or that customer too cheap, and you're going to make more money on the back end than he's going to make on the front end, or you're going to lose, and the CPA provider is going to provide you with a customer that's not worth as much as you're paying for it. But there's always a winner and a loser, and to me, that's not the type of relationship that I like to build. That's long term and sustainable. For me, a revenue share model is always more indicative of how the deal is performing. And if the deal is performing well, the most money to be made is always on a revenue share for the marketing provider. And I don't want to look to beat or to outplay, my marketing partners. I want us to equally share in those profits. I want to move into deals that work. I want to properly, afford the marketing partner a chance to make as much money as we do in the deal. And I don't want to stick around in deals that don't work. I don't want to constantly be looking at a deal and comparing who's making more money. We should be partners, in the sense that we're the operators, you're providing the customers. They're both equally as important in the whole grand scheme of things, and we should share in that revenue. And we have a great deal coming out with Benzinga Technologies, which is a big company out of Mexico. They're a cell tower provider, and they have about 6 million users on their cell phone platform that will be targeting for lottery by the end of April. And they also have backup networks throughout Latin America with 10 times that amount of users collectively. And that's a revenue partnership deal that we'll be doing. And, the cost per acquisition there hopefully could be an insane amount if you consider the commissions that are paid based on, net gaming revenue at the end of each year. But in that case, there's no losing, there's only winning. And that's for both partners. Those are the type of deals I like to do.
Yeah. At Benzinga, we talk a lot about levers and vulnerabilities, what levers we can pull that we can control, and what vulnerabilities that we can control and that we can't. What levers can you pull that are in your control, and what vulnerabilities are out there maybe that you can't?
That's such a great question, because in our business, I call it the hula hoop theory, and that is that we have to put our business kind of in a hula hoop. And everything inside of that hula hoop is what we can control. And everything outside of that hula hoop is out of our control. And when you start to understand and determine what's in your control and what's out of your control, you can be much more effective as a company. I used to be in the sports betting business my whole life, 30 plus years, seen it all, done it all. In that business, you're going to compare football season to football season.
Yeah.
Because every football season is virtually the same. Just how much revenue you made, how many customers you have during that season is going to determine the growth of your company. Lottery is very different. For instance, last first quarter, we had lotteries in the U.S. that were in excess of $1 billion. Obviously, when Powerball's at $1 billion, and at the same time, Mega Millions is at $880 million, the feverish pitch of the desire out there for tickets are uncomparable to a lottery quarter like this year, where we haven't, just for the first time in the last 3 weeks, we've had one of the big two, which is Powerball and Mega Millions, go over 100 million. And I don't know why lottery players don't get excited by a $20 million payoff. Like, that's not going to change their life. They need $1 billion. I don't know why, but that's the case. So when we look at this year compared to last year in the first quarter, investors are going to go, oh my God, what happened to this company? You know what I mean? And really, it has nothing to do with comparing month to month. It's over the course of the years, the lotteries fluctuate. So when I look at the first 3 months of this month, I picked 3 months from last year that had low lotteries. And I look at our volume now compared to our volume than to try to compare apples to apples. What I can control is the operations of the business, the value to our customers, and the standing and standards that we hold to as a company. What I can't control is the way the public market reacts to that. And to try to play that game has driven CEOs much smarter than me to jump off the roof, and I won't.
Look, yeah, I mean, life is all about rules to me. I have a rule. I don't buy a lotto ticket unless it's 500 million or more. Will my wife?
With here.
Is there a difference between a 500 and a 499? Not really. It's just what I decided to do years ago, and I've kind of stuck to that over the years. But to your point, you're right. I would imagine that high jackpots, increase activity and vice versa.
So to that point, we've done something very, very interesting and very unique, and it's a first timer in our industry. Yeah. And I think it comes from kind of being in the sports and casino business and looking at lottery in a different way than the old time dinosaurs have looked at the same product forever. Kind of getting bored in their approach. We created something called boosted jackpots, which is a really great concept. And it took me a while to get the insurance providers to get their heads around it, that if they're going to take a $400 million bet at some point, then take the bet all the time. If it's good 1 month out of the year, it's good 12 months out of the year. And it took some time, and we got them to lend us the ability to create a product called Boosted Jackpots, where with Powerball or Mega Millions, anytime that jackpot is under 100 million, which it usually starts out in the 15 to $20 million range, we'll boost that jackpot to 100 million absolutely free. So when the jackpot is 20 million in the US, you play with one of my brands, Lotto Kings, or Win Trillions, and it's going to be 100 million for the same price. And then you have the ability at that point to boost it to 200, 300, or up to 400 million for a fee. So you can actually play a lottery that's 20 million in the US for as much as 400 million per ticket. And while I thought that would be a huge customer acquisition tool, it didn't turn out that way. What it turned out to be was a tremendous, retention tool. Because customers that play with us and get used to getting that $100 million for free and up to $400 million for a fee, it's very hard for them to move to another lottery provider that doesn't provide that. So it's done a real good job of creating what we call in our industry sticky connectivity, which is what everybody wants.
Question from the chat from Vape King, just to be absolutely clear, do you do sports betting?
We do. We do sports betting. We don't focus on it from a marketing standpoint. What we do is we try to create the most robust, complete gambling offers for our lottery customers. So if we have a lottery customer that wants to bet on sports, what we do is we provide a sports betting platform that is equal to any sports betting platform out there with a tremendous third-party provider in Pinnacle Sports. And they're able to not leave our site, go to another site and play sports. They can take care of all their gambling desires right on our site. I think that's how we look at sports for the moment. But I say for the moment because we always reserve the right to do things differently going forward.
Steve Budin, the CEO and director of Kings Entertainment Trading in Canada on the CAC under the ticker Jackpot, JKPT, very appropriate. Steve, a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for coming on All Access today. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and we'll be following your story going forward.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, guys. I promised you at the top of the show that we were going to do live trading today, and I am usually a man of my word. So here's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to end this show and send you guys over. Ryan, Zunaid, and Mitch are going live, if not live already. I think they're going live. I think they're waiting for me to finish up so they can go live. So before I go, a couple of quick announcements. Announcement number 1. We are like 7 weeks away from the FinTwit conference in Vegas. It's around the corner. I'm putting this up on the screen there. The URL works, benzinga.com/events/FinTwit2022. Use that offer code BZYouTube20 to get 20% off your ticket to either general admission to the conference or the exclusive Benzinga workshop that last I checked was almost at capacity. 2 different things to tickets there. Same discount code, BZYouTube20. That's the first thing I want to say. Second thing I want, we're gonna hang out in Vegas. I'm gonna be there. We're going to Vegas. It's gonna be fun. Aria Hotel and Casino, May 13th and 14th. It's gonna be amazing. I don't know what's happening with my graphic there. Second thing I want to add, our next event, Benzinga Cannabis Capital Conference, coming up April 420, right? It's I think it's the 18th, 19th, and 20th. Mike Tyson will be there. Congress people will be there. The biggest names in cannabis will be there. Benzinga, go to bzcannabis.com is the website there to learn more about that. It's going to be our biggest conference ever by a mile, not even close. Thanks to our guest today. Thanks to Dr. Henry G, and thanks to Steve Budin. I'm going to head on over to live trading, send you all there. As always, today's show, all of our All Access shows are sponsored by Ticker. Use the code ticker.com/Benzinga to get rewarded for owning stocks. It really is that simple. Let's play that video one more time.
What is Ticker? That's right, Ticker with 2 I's, just like you, because it's for you, for investing, for stock perks, for connecting you to public companies who reward you as a shareholder, as a brand lover. That's why people can't stop tickering. Ticker, where investors discover shareholder perks and consumers become investors in the brands they love. Ticker. Start tickering today.
.com/Benzinga. Sign up, create an account, connect your brokerage, tell them you're from Benzinga. They will send you a $20 Amazon gift card in 30 days. That's it. I'm ending the stream. We're going over live trading. Mitch, Ryan, Junaid doing their thing today. Smash that like button, please. And thank you. And our producer, let's roll that intro one more time and end this show.